Welcome back to the channel. So today we'll be studying oxygen dissociation curve. Now see, first of all you should know the most important factor which will determine how much oxygen will bind to hemoglobin is partial pressure of oxygen. This is the most important factor which will determine how much oxygen will bind. If the partial pressure of oxygen is high, it means more oxygen will bind. If you can see here this graph, when the partial pressure of oxygen is from 60 or more, means from 60 to 100, you can see here hemoglobin is nearly more than 90% saturated. So the relationship between the percent saturation of hemoglobin and partial pressure of oxygen, we are showing it with the help of oxygen dissociation curve. Clear? So this is percent saturation of hemoglobin with oxygen, and this is the partial pressure of oxygen. So when the partial pressure of oxygen is more than 60, okay, you can see here it's more than 60, then it is nearly more than 90% and above saturation is started. So we say this curve is sigmoid. Why we say sigmoid? Because if you see here, when the partial pressure is 20, check carefully, when the partial pressure is 20, it is saturation is hardly nearly about 30% saturation, and it is 50% saturated at the partial pressure. That partial pressure is, you can calculate, it will come around the 28. So this is P50. We say P50 means at partial pressure at which hemoglobin is 50% saturated. So it is at 28 mmHg, it is 50% saturated, and at 60 partial pressure and above, it is more than 90% saturated. And it is just because of the cooperative binding we are getting sigmoid curve. So cooperative binding, what does it mean? For this one, detailed video is also there. If you want, you can check it also. And just simple this, if suppose you know very well, hemoglobin is having 4 polypeptide chain, 2 alpha and 2 beta, each chain with one heme and each heme with one iron. And each iron can carry one oxygen molecule. So it means one hemoglobin can combine with 4 oxygen molecule. So you can imagine analogy this way, ki suppose this door is closed. First person is taking an effort to open the door. Remaining 3 are able to walk easily. The same way, binding of one oxygen is difficult. The moment first oxygen bind, now remaining 3 oxygen molecule can bind easily because the conformation changes are there, and that is known as cooperative binding. Now let us study how to study this graph. We'll be studying it. Now see, you know very well, when the partial pressure is 60 and above, if you see this line carefully, partial pressure is 60 and above, it is nearly 90% and above, saturation is coming. And when the partial pressure is 20, it's nearly 30% saturation. Clear beta? 30% saturation. And when partial pressure is 40, you can see here it is nearly 75% saturation. 75% saturation when partial pressure is 40. Why I am emphasizing it? You see carefully, you have already studied कि at the tissue or in deoxygenated blood, partial pressure of oxygen is 40 mmHg. Remember, in the table is given in your NCERT, it is at the tissue level, or you can see in the deoxygenated blood. This much is present. And still it is, partial pressure is this much, but how much percentage saturation? It is 75% is still saturated. Clear? Now, for this, how to learn it properly, understand it carefully. In the body fluid and circulation chapter, it is given 100 ml of blood will have nearly 12 to 15 gram of hemoglobin. Remember we studied it? And 1 gram of hemoglobin can combine with 1.34 ml of oxygen. So it means 100 ml of blood will carry, round figure, actual mean is 19.4, but round figure we will say 20 ml of oxygen. Clear? This is the one you should learn it first. Ki 100 ml of blood will carry nearly 20 ml of oxygen. Now, how much it is delivering? Did you remember how much will it deliver? It will deliver only 5 ml of oxygen to the tissues and the rest. So it means 5 ml is delivered. So 5 ml of 20, total 20. So how much is delivery is done? If you see, delivery is only 25% is delivered. 25% is delivered. It means how much percentage is still it is left? It is 75% is still left in the deoxygenated blood at the partial pressure 40. So please study the graph. When you're studying the graph, you have to study from here. You should study this way. Clear? So when the partial pressure of oxygen is decreasing, dissociation curve indicates कि yes, unloading is going on. Is it clear? Unloading is going on. So main factor which affects the binding of oxygen with hemoglobin is partial pressure of oxygen. Is it clear? Now other factors also play a role. Now understand this graph also very carefully. See, this is the when normal carbon dioxide partial pressure is there. This is the normal. This is for the black color is for the normal. Please learn it carefully. And you know this equation, carbon dioxide combines with water in the presence of an enzyme carbonic anhydrase. This enzyme Ca means carbonic anhydrase to form H2CO3, and H2CO3 will break down into H plus and SCO3 minus. So when H plus is increasing, if it is increasing means carbon dioxide is increasing. So it means partial pressure of carbon dioxide is increasing, proton is increasing, partial pressure of oxygen is decreasing. Clear? If proton is increasing, it means pH is decreasing. Understood? All are linked, and you can see this condition at the tissue level. You can see this condition at the tissue level. So at the tissue level, when high carbon dioxide partial pressure, curve is shifting to the right. Curve shift to the right means what? Now 50% hemoglobin will be saturated. Earlier you require, suppose the partial pressure of uh, let us assume it is 32. Okay, now for 50% saturation, for 50% saturation, you require partial pressure nearly 40. That is why the curve is shifting to the right. Is it clear? Curve shift to the right indicates it is at the tissue level. So factors which affects the binding of oxygen with hemoglobin, main is oxygen, but other factor like carbon dioxide. Okay, other factor is next important factor is pH also. pH. Right now I have shown you when the hydrogen ions are increasing. They will increase when the partial pressure of carbon dioxide is increasing. It means partial pressure of oxygen is decreasing. If H plus is increasing, it means pH is decreasing. Normal blood pH is 7.4. But when the blood pH decreases, the curve shift to right. The curve shift to right, what does it indicate? Curve shift to right indicate Bohr effect. If shift to right, it indicates it's a Bohr effect. Please learn, it's a very important concept for your NEET preparation and for other competitive exams. Important factors other is the temperature also. Temperature, high temperature will make the curve shift to the right, and high BPG, that is biphosphoglyceric acid. If this concentration is also increasing, curve is shifting to the right. So in the short, we can say if carbon dioxide increase, if proton increase, if temperature increase, and BPG, this also increase. In all these conditions, the curve will shift to right. Curve shift to right. I hope so this might be helpful for you. You must have understood how the oxygen dissociation curve, what is the importance of it, and how you can work with it to solve other MCQ questions. Thanks for watching.